wanna get high, man?
Let's stimulate your mind.
Get up, Chucky! What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Rojan Kim?
Hello, and welcome to the Rojan Kim cast. It's me, Rojan Kim, from sunny California, Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles, entertainment capital of the world. Also, perhaps one of the largest homeless encampments in the country is in Los Angeles. Downtown LA, not the high-rises that you're seeing go up in the futuristic sort of Blade Runner-esque buildings. In fact, I feel like downtown LA is just an elaborate theme park based on Blade Runner, right? Like that's just what it is. It's like the future. It's like the haves and the have-nots right there. Tent cities everywhere. Why am I talking about tent cities? I don't know. You know why? Because I think it's interesting. We live in the entertainment capital of the world, right? Entertainment. California is seen as this communist paradise, right? A socialist paradise. I can't complain. I'm receiving government money for unemployment right now, so I'm a commie, I guess. I'm part commie, but I'm also working while I collect my unemployment. So eventually I will, of course, lose my unemployment because you can't work while you're on unemployment, because the whole point of unemployment is that you're not working, but once you're working, you don't need unemployment. So why would you need that extra money, even though most of us are one accident away from homelessness? Homelessness, which is looking more and more appealing to a lot of people in California because it's a tent life now. Car life, tent life. Here's your, you got your hierarchy of homelessness, right? You got your sort of the car. Well, I guess couch surfing would be the top. You actually have a domicile. So it's not yours, but you have a bed or a couch or a floor, and you got a bathroom, and no one's trying to. Well, I guess it's not. There's probably some questionable arrangements for said boarding. Maybe, you got to give a little handy or a blowy or a little more than that. A little pussy, a little ass, like mouth. I don't know. A hole. You got to offer up a hole to stay. That's possible. Or money or whatever. Just something in exchange. Quid pro quo, as they're saying in the news a lot. This for that. Tit for tat. All right. So, there's that next level. Car, right? Live in your car. Or I guess you could also live in a place without running water, without a real shower, right? It's sort of that car gym life where you use the gym to shower, live in your car. That's a great deal of people, and that's sort of the upper echelon of the homeless. Because I guess technically if you're couch surfing, you kind of do have a home. It's not your home, but there is a home involved. But a car is not a home, no matter what people in LA try to tell you. I know a lot of people. I'd say, come on, it wouldn't surprise me if there was like 1 million people living in their cars in LA. It wouldn't. There would not. I'd be like, it wouldn't surprise me if you told me there's 1 million people in downtown LA living in tents. I'm like, yeah, that seems about right. I mean, that's how crazy it is. That's how many people, are out there. When you drive down, you run into Skid Row. I mean, it's literally people walking on the street, blocking the streets. I don't know if they're junkies. I don't know if they're mentally ill. I don't know if they're even homeless. Some of them are not. They're just going to work, it looks like. But a lot of them live in tents. A lot of them live in tents that are just there, not cleaned. And apparently there's a huge meth problem going on in those tents, which I suppose is better than opioids. They're not dying left and right. They're doing meth. They're keeping busy. They are keeping busy. A lot of them are like fucking cleaning around their tents. I mean, once they put up a tent, it's almost like they have more ownership of the street they live on, at least their patch of street. No one's really fucking with them. So they're beautifying their own area. I mean, sure, are they having unprotected sex and smoking meth and sharing needles? Sure. But really, who are we to judge? We're going to judge them now? I mean, we're not even helping them. Now we're going to be like, clean your act up, homeless people. I mean, they are cleaning. They're cleaning their steps. They're fucking scrubbing. I've seen it. I mean, the meth makes you clean. It's funny how meth makes you clean everything but your teeth. Isn't that really funny? I mean, you end up losing your teeth. Anyways, So you got your house, you got your home dwelling, your house hobos, right? And then you got your field hobos. And the field hobos, the top of the field is you got your car hobo, right? And then you got your tent hobo, and that's the next level, right? You don't have a car anymore, but you do have a little patch of sidewalk, a little patch of street you can call your own. And then you got your tentless, right? That's the true downtrodden, right? That's the real 99% of the homeless, right, is the sort of tentless. You have to then stay in someone's tent. And then the former rules of engagement of staying in someone's house apply. What do you have to offer? A hole, you got to offer drugs, you got to offer money, quid pro quo. It's got to be something, unless there's some kind of strange communistic paradise going on in these tents. Is that possible? Is that possible where everybody is sort of like, to each according to their own need? Like there's a lot of sharing, of meth. Nobody. It's our meth. They say it's our meth, and when your teeth fall, that's our teeth. Falling together. So that could be it. I don't know. So then you got that's your bottom rung of the hierarchy there. Your tentless, street-dwelling, homeless. They just sleep uncovered, like animals, like fucking dogs, just laying in the street. And that's typical. See, I guess that's all a tent really is. It's just the illusion of privacy. Oh, okay, sorry. All right, ran out of space on the old memory card, huh? 16 gigabytes of gold laid down, had to be erased. And I'm back. I was talking about homeless people in tents. Tents. What is it for, really? It's just to give you the illusion of privacy. Well, I remember one time I took acid and went to Yosemite without a tent and tried to spend the night after being warned by all the rangers about the bears roaming around. And I thought about how a tent, it would not really help. If a bear decided to attack us and we were in a tent, it'd probably fuck us up even more because of the confusion of the tent. We're wrapped in the tent, we're trying to run, and the bears getting at you, and you're in the tent, and you're like, So I guess there's that. But the fact that I was exposed out in the open, it just made me and my friend Kyle super uneasy. You know what I mean? Like if we had a tent, we could at least kind of, it's out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. And what would be out of sight is Mother Nature, who's coming to kill you. You know what I mean? So I could see on a level, if you're out there on the streets surviving, that tent will kind of give you that peace of mind. Along with the meth, which I think makes you supremely confident and stay awake, because I think part of the whole thing is falling asleep is very scary, I would say, on the street. I've only fallen asleep outdoors a couple times. I was homeless for about a month in college. My fault. Stupid. Didn't make my financial aid deadline. And of all things, that's the only thing I needed to do, since I'm ripping off government money. At least back at the time I wasn't going to school. I was just using the money for drugs. I think that I learned a thing or two about just some responsibility by being forced to sleep outdoors. Found out that it's very uncomfortable sleeping at night because it seems scary. So the best thing to do is try to stay up all night and then sleep in the day, which is what me and my friend John ended up doing. We would do things like take acid or ecstasy to stay up all night, then crash when we came down at either a friend's place or just on the lawn at school. A couple times I just slept on the lawn. Sometimes you see these people sleeping on the lawn. You're like, who the fuck is that guy? What's he up to? Tell you what, they might be just crashing from an all-night MDMA binge. That might be what's going on. They might have watched Spawn, the animated movie, 3 times in a row while on microdots. That might have happened, and now they're crashing. So that's totally possible. So I feel for homeless people, because I can't say that I was a homeless person, but I was homeless. I've been on the street. I have had to sleep outdoors. It's fucked up. Or I have to just sort of work out arrangements with people to sleep in their place. Yeah, it's fucked up. So this tent living, man, can't imagine it. Meanwhile, while we have tent metropolises forming in the metropolis of Los Angeles itself, a raging, roaring debate is going on. Not about homelessness, but about whether superhero movies are cinema. That's what's really important, guys. That's what people are like. Scorsese is saying they're not, and Coppola, and who else? All these old Italian filmmaking greats, giants are coming out and being like, that ain't fucking cinema. That's just a fucking thrill ride. I think they might say that to themselves. I've been watching a lot of Sopranos, so I think they just sit around eating some schwieldel, and being like, have you seen that fucking Captain Marvel? She's got no fucking charisma. Why do they even... Brie Larson, more like Brie Cheese. She's got the personality of Brie Cheese. All right, that's that Oscar award-winning actress, Brie Larson. What? Do you tell me she's charismatic and interesting as an actor? You're telling me that? All right. Okay. It makes me trust you less. I don't know. It makes me think that you could be conned easily. Well, anyway. Is it cinema? Is it not? I don't know. Let's go ask the tent people. Let's go ask the people living on the streets of Hollywood. Hey, do you think that the Avengers is cinema? And a lot of people will be like, yeah, I think that the Avengers is kind of cinema in the vein of, like the classic, the periodical, serial, film reel, kind of real things that they did back that Indiana Jones was based off of, and so that's, I think that it is a part of cinema. I wouldn't say it's the greatest of cinema, but, it's just like when you have food, you have got, like, fine dining, and you've got, like, fucking now and laters, and then so maybe the Marvel movies are like now and laters. And you could do like that. I don't know what happened to the homeless guy there, why the homeless man was also in The Sopranos. He was an ex-capo, and he had a drug problem, and instead of killing him, they just let him live on the street. Let him live on the street, right? Wow. Don't call him homeless, call him streetful. That's what he's full of, eh? Hey, Tone. All right. This is... Is it cinema? Hey, is that what's important here? There's people fucking scraping meth out of glass pipes in tents just to last another day. And I suppose we need to know if comic book movies are cinema. Is it? I don't know. Meanwhile, there's fires burning down all of California. LA is a nice little microclimate. It's got a little mountain thing, a little kind of protected, but all around it's very dry. Santa Ana winds come. It's very dry. There's fires right outside Burbank, right there. Fucking Malibu, not far, less than an hour, like about an hour or so, right? Just fire along the 405, just fucking fires everywhere. That's what's coming. That's the winter. And so while the state is on fire, the citizens of Los Angeles wonder to themselves, are Marvel movies cinema? That's what's important here. As they step over the human feces, the broken meth pipes, and the tents that are, some broken tents as well. They wonder to themselves, is Joker cinema? Was Joker cinema? It seems cinematic. Seemed like it. You can refer to the Rojan Kimcast episode 109, I think, Taxi Joker, for my thoughts on the derivative nature of Joker. Hey, it wasn't bad. It was a good time, but it is what it is. That's all I have to say about that. But I think, isn't that funny though? Isn't it? I think it's just fascinating that this town that has stolen water from all of its neighbors like a vampire in order to live, to create this sort of facsimile of paradise, this sort of plastic surgery, sun-soaked, kind of, flaky, superficial, yeah, man. But there's plenty of good things too. That's not, that's the bad stuff. The good stuff is that there is space, there is freedom, there is positive regard. People are genuinely nicer. People genuinely want to give you a shot, which to me is terrible for comedy, at least for beginning comics. When you're starting out, you don't need people liking you. It's not how it's supposed to be, okay? You're not supposed to be liked. That's real actor shit. See, that's the problem. A lot of actors here. The whole town is an actor. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be here, okay? There's people in LA overheard this conversation, right? Wondering how to pronounce things in LA, right? For example, the neighborhood Los Feliz, traditionally called Los Feliz by the denizens of the city. People now are thinking maybe we should call it Los Feliz. Maybe we should say Los Feliz, right? Los Feliz, because that's the more progressive way. That's just more progressive, people think. I've actually heard this conversation more than once. This is not a new conversation. Heard this before. Why don't we call it Los Feliz, right? Why don't we do that? Because isn't that more progressive? Usually this conversation is had by white people, and usually they're white people who live in Los Feliz, okay? They want to call it Los Feliz? You want to call it Los Feliz? Fine. You're the ones fucking gentrifying it. You want to ask the people who had to move out because you raised the rents which way you should pronounce it. You think they care? They don't fucking care how you pronounce it. They'd rather you either, I guess, leave. I mean, you can't leave now. It's too late. They're like, well, I guess we're fucked. Whatever. Okay, fine. I guess we'll feel better. We feel better, though, that you're pronouncing it correctly. Thank you. Right? And then arguments will erupt over, whether this is right or wrong. Like, let's say you don't agree, because maybe like the dominant orthodoxy here in Los Angeles is to agree and be like, yes, let's be progressive. We should do the progressive thing and be progressive. That's, of course, tinged with colonizer guilt, usually by people gentrifying these areas. But aside from that, let's just say they're like, yeah, huh? Yeah. So then the other side, see, it's like what happens is because you frame it as a progressive argument, what ends up happening is that by taking a counterpoint, you're automatically seen as, I don't know, conservative? Is that what the opposite of progressive? I don't know. It's all such bullshit. Like, whatever the opposite, you're on the other team. That's what they assume. But imagine if you're just saying, no, listen, language doesn't work that way. Language is just how it is. Like, for instance, Houston Street in New York it looks like the word Houston, and you could be right. If you looked at it, you'd say Houston, because every single person in the country would say Houston unless you went to New York and knew that it was called Houston. But you can't say, let's just change it, right? And that has less to do with it. That's not like, so then some people, you might be like, oh, so then should we call tacos tacos? Should we call them tacos? Like, what should we do? And that's just fucking dumb, right? Like, because consider the town you're living in, Los Angeles. It's not Los Angeles, right? Consider Santa Monica Boulevard, because Santa Barbara, San Francisco. Did you know this whole fucking place was Mexico? California? Did you know that? Did you know it's all Mexico? All of this, all the way from here to Texas, New Mexico, all of it was once Mexico. And then there was a war called the Mexican-American War, where we annexed Texas, think that remember the Alamo, a couple things happened, and then boom, full-on war. It was full-on war. There was war all the way up to like fucking Illinois, okay? Yeah, fucking Santa Ana's leg or some shit is in Illinois. Like, there was a full-on war for this shit, okay? Lasted about, I think it was 5 years. So I think there was a Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, maybe 3 years, 48. I'm not... I mean, I know enough, but I don't know so much that I gotta, but look, a few years, okay? 3, 5 years, whatever. There's war, had the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, stipulated that the Mexican citizens in what would now become the United States, would have dual citizenship. It would allow them to become Mexican citizens and United States citizens. That was part of the treaty to stop the war. Otherwise, we'll keep fighting the war because, what are you fucking doing? We signed the treaty, Americans. We did it. And then, suddenly, I think it was 1848, because in 1849, you got yourself a gold rush in California. Yee-haw! Right? Fucking Sutter, whatever his name is. I don't know, this dude named Sutter. Oh, God, I'm forgetting all of my John Sutter. I don't know, he struck gold. There's a gold rush. Gold motherfucking people coming. White guys coming to California. And then they were like, holy shit, hold on, wait a minute. We said that the Mexicans were dual citizens. Does that mean that they have like property rights? Does that mean that they have voting rights? Does that mean that like the Mexican man is essentially equal to the white man? Is that what this is? Now, these are the challenges put forth by the white men coming in. And really, it's just a capitalistic thing. It's competition. It's like, there's gold. We're going after this gold. We're going to do every fucking thing we can to make sure we get more gold than the next guy. And if that means throwing him under the bus because he's Mexican, fuck yeah, I'm going to do that. And throw everybody under the bus, right? Because we're trying to get this gold, motherfucker. Gold that ended up financing the Civil War in the 1860s. So, what did the American Congress do? They were like, what the fuck are we going to do? We got these Mexicans. They're dual citizens according to this treaty. Are they going to be allowed to vote? We're going to let these brown guys vote and control the gold? We can't do that, man, right? All these fucking the white men. Back then, they're all white, right? All white senators and congressmen were all like shitting themselves. Like, fuck, this is a shitstorm. Like, the rest of the country is going to hate this because everybody's racist, So you're like, what are we going to do? So then they came up with a great plan. It's genius, really. They were like, all right, how about this? In accordance with the laws we have, only white people can vote, right? This was before the Civil War. Only white men can vote. So how about this? Only white Mexican men can vote. Ta-da! And everybody was like, okay, we'll go with that. And, I guess the Mexicans themselves had a racial hierarchy. You had your mestizos, you had your Californios, you had your guys, fucking the landed guys, you had your fucking white-looking Spanish, right? España-looking España. They talk like this, and they're like, oh, Juan, would you please pick that up because my zapatas are hurting right now? And then Juan's like, fuck you, puto. Yeah, sí, señor. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on there. I summed it all up for you guys. Anyways, white Mexicans, so they're like, cool, okay, we can be white and Mexican if we're white, not like those brown Mexicans. But then, lo and behold, what started happening? White men, Anglo-Saxon men, white men, would take these white Mexicans to court, sue for their land, and end up winning because they weren't white, right? They'd be like, Your Honor, this man is clearly not white. He is a Mexican. He has no claim to this land. And the judge would be like, yeah, can't argue with that logic that he's right. He's Mexican. He's not white. Case dismissed, pom-pom, right? And so all these so-called white Mexicans who had these deeds that were supposed to be honored by the U.S. government, even though they were originally established by the Mexican government, they suddenly did not have any claims to that land. And along with other shit, California had a neat little law that said if you were not white, you couldn't testify against a white man. You just can't. Sorry, you just can't. You just can't, right? There's a whole conundrum. People versus Hall. Look this up. I probably talked about this before, but this was over a Chinaman. Chinaman saw a murder go down. White man murder a Chinese, and then the Chinaman was. This is me getting canceled. The Chinaman was like, he can't kill Chinks. No, he didn't say that. The white man probably said, die, Chink, as he killed the Chink, and then. Oh, shit, fuck. No, now I'm getting canceled. Well, it's over for me. It's over. All right, I'm sorry. It's the end of the Rojan Kim cast. Thank you for listening. All right, now let me just finish this. People versus Hall. Chinaman saw a white man kill another Chinaman, and then he testified against him. That's what put him in jail. And then they appealed it over and over because there was a law on the books that said no black or Indian could testify against a white man. And then with the Chinaman, they were like, what? He's not black or an Indian. What the fuck do we do? What do we do? And then so they had to do a lot of rigmarole, like a dancing, like a real dance routine. They had a super awesome linguistic gymnastic routine, fucking amazing, perfect tens. If you were scoring this shit, this would be the equivalent in gymnastics of somebody just doing like when they do the fucking, they sprint and do this fucking somersaults, and then they do the fucking triple axel in the air, and they fucking stick it, land it, arms in the air, Nadia Comaneci style, or whatever her fucking lady, that girl with the fucked up ankle who ended up sticking it to, like that she was a hero too, Michaela, whatever the fuck. All of them. That's what this was like, okay? So this is what they said. They said, all right, yeah, the law says it can't be black or an Indian, and this is clearly neither, right? Chinaman, right? But let's just say when we said black, we didn't mean literally it had to be black. We just meant like not white. We just meant as opposed to white. We just mean like literally black. We just mean not white. And when we say Indian, yeah, we're talking about the natives, and the natives, as we all know, are descended from people who crossed over the Bering Strait from Asia, and the Chinese are Asians, and so they're kind of like Indians too. So they kind of like totally are like both black and Indian. Okay, so anyways, this guy who witnessed the murder can't testify against the white guy, and that stood. That was the California Supreme Court, People versus Hall. So that's a backdrop of this place where the people who come from out of state, gentrifying areas, raising the rents, kicking people, a lot of Latino people out of Los Feliz are now saying, maybe we should call it Los Feliz. Maybe we should call it, even though this whole place was once Califas, right? And then taken over in a war and then turned to California, right? So for me, California is, at least it's more honest. Santa Monica, at least that's more honest because it is what it is. It's a Mexican territory taken over by the United States, right? Whiteified, gentrified. The original gentrification happened after 1845, after the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. So that's a little history lesson there. Wow, we started on the homeless problem in LA. A very LA-centered episode today. Started on the homelessness problem. Spiraled that up into our comic book movies cinema, which is, of course, the chief concern of homeless people. Then briefly touched about how the entire state of California is on fire and will be for the rest of winter, until through winter. Came back down to this idea of progressivism in language, pronouncing things with a Spanish accent to be more progressive, despite the fact that the land we are on is ill-gotten, perhaps, or at least a conquest-driven thing. We took it, and then we kind of Indian gave some of the rights that we said we'd give these people, and now we are saying let's build a wall. Right now, we got a president elected on saying, he actually, I'm gonna be straight with you. He actually didn't say that they were all rapists. He didn't. You can actually look it up. It was made to look like he did, but he actually didn't technically say that. I mean, was it the most tactful thing? No. But what he was doing. I'm talking about Trump. I'll say his name. I hate that stupid 45, like he's fucking Voldemort. Just fucking grow up, okay? The guy knew that immigration was a huge issue. He knew it. And so that's what he was going after, man. Red meat for that. And everybody else, the establishment, Democrats, Republicans, they had no idea that it was such a big issue. They had no idea that the people on the ground were concerned with it, okay? So that's how you rile them up. That's how he got, okay? So this whole thing of, he says Mexicans are rapist. No, I'm sure he doesn't really like Mexicans either, but that's neither here nor there. This whole place was Mexico, right? It's ridiculous. The whole thing is absurd and ridiculous, okay? And for all intents and purposes, it is Mexico and it is America, okay? It's both, all right? So Los Feliz, I say Los Feliz until it changes. Everybody says it. Then I'll change it. Look, Wilshire, it's not called Wilshire, it's called Wilshire, okay? Because that's just how it is. That's just how language works. Things change over time. Beef is a French word. We don't say bœuf, right? We don't say table for table. We don't say garage, okay? That's language. Language changes. All right. This is a ridiculous rant. Okay, so talked about language. Then I talked about Mexican-American war. Then I talked about the people versus Hall and how you can't be black or Indian or Chinese. You can't be nothing, okay? Brown, nothing. You, at least back then, couldn't be any of those things and testify against a white man. Okay, so that was white privilege. So I feel like compared to that, white guys have less privilege because mostly because they're killing themselves in droves. They weren't doing that back then. They were fucking throwing Mexicans under the bus for gold. And scene. I think that wraps up this episode in a nice little bow. Thank you so much for listening. Please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, @RojanKim. Go check out my website, rojankim.com, where you can find the Rojan Kim Cast, right? You can find it. It's there. Subscribe to it on iTunes or Apple. Stitcher. Apple. I think that's all I got. Maybe I'll put it on more things. I don't know. But thank you for listening.